Welcome back to Barry's Academy. This is number 4 in our series. So over the past 3 lectures, we've covered a lot of ground. We've explored the promise of AI in mental health, how it can restore time and presence. We addressed the critical questions around trust, HIPAA, ethics, and boundaries. And we looked at practical ways AI can support every part of your practice, from clinical work to marketing to ongoing learning. It's one thing to talk about AI in theory, and it's another thing entirely to see how it actually works in practice. So today we're going to shift from concepts to concrete demonstration. We're going to walk through a real AI workflow from start to finish, what it looks like to use AI-powered clinical documentation in your day-to-day practice. Today's presentation is about showing you what's possible when AI is designed thoughtfully for mental health clinicians. By the end of the session, you'll have a clear picture of how AI can fit seamlessly into your workflow, what features to look for, and what it feels like when technology truly works for you instead of against you. So before we get into the demonstration, let's clarify what we're aiming to accomplish today. By the end of this lecture, you'll be able to demonstrate understanding of a complete AI workflow, from the moment you start recording a session all the way through generating the final note and transferring it to your EHR. You'll see each step in action. Second, you'll be able to evaluate how personalized templates and AI learning features can adapt to your individual clinical documentation style. Every clinician documents differently, and good AI should learn your way of working, not force you into rigid templates. Third, you'll be able to apply knowledge of privacy controls and security features to maintain HIPAA compliance while using AI documentation tools. We'll look at exactly what security measures should be in place and how you can maintain control over your client data. And fourth, you'll be able to analyze the potential benefits and limitations of AI-powered clinical documentation, including the real impacts on your time and documentation quality. We'll look at actual data and be honest about what AI can and cannot do. And lastly, you'll be able to identify key features that support clinical decision-making, treatment planning, and session preparation. AI can do more than just write notes. It can help prepare for sessions, track treatment progress, and stay clinically sharp. Okay, are you ready to see what this looks like in action? So here's where we are in our journey. In the previous 3 lectures, we explored the promise of AI. We addressed ethical concerns head-on and examined practical applications across your entire practice, from clinical work to operations to marketing to learning. Now it's time to see how this actually works in a clinical setting. Today, we're going to use AI tools as concrete examples of the principles we've been discussing: reducing administrative burden, maintaining clinical oversight, protecting patient privacy, and restoring time for therapeutic presence. This is an educational demonstration. The goal is to show you what's possible so that when you're evaluating AI tools for your own practice, you know what to look for. You'll see what good AI looks like in action, and you'll be able to ask better questions when you're vetting vendors. Over the next several slides, we'll walk through the complete workflow of using AI for clinical documentation. We'll examine capabilities that go beyond note-taking to support your clinical work. And there's a quote I want you to keep in mind throughout this demonstration. The best AI tools are the ones you barely notice. They work quietly in the background, handling the burden so you can focus on healing. So that's the standard we're aiming for, not flashy technology that demands your attention, but invisible support that frees you to do what you do best. So let's see what that looks like. Now I'm going to show you how it works from session to note in 3 steps. First, I'm going to show you how to start a session. When you enter into Barry's, you're going to click Start Session, and Barry's will handle the rest for you. You can select your template and begin your clinical work. We're going to pick a client here, Donald Duck. Choose a template that we'd like to use. So let's just say this is going to be a biopsychosocial assessment. And this will work in person or via telehealth, however you want to use it. It's compatible with all devices, and headphones are optional. So now that we've chosen our client and our template, we're going to go ahead and hit start. And you'll see it's recording the session now. And I'm just going to do a little clinical blurb so you understand how it works. The client was present and alert during the session, discussing recent holiday events with family. It was particularly triggering for the client. Client struggled to communicate with family members due to past history of always arguing and having communication problems with particularly his mother and father. Siblings also tend to bully client. Client has trouble being assertive, standing up for himself. Client needs understanding of how to assertively communicate his needs. We discussed feeling brave in these situations. We talked about different modalities that would help him stand up and feel strong in these situations. We also discussed a number of techniques and strategies to help him be more assertive with his family during settings like this. And then I'm going to come over here and end the session. And it's going to generate the note very quickly. You would be recording the session. If the client was present with you and you were recording, it would be recording both ends of the session. You can also dictate at the end of the session, just like I just did. You can tell Barry's what happened, and it's going to turn it into a really great note for you. This was a biopsychosocial assessment template. Of course, it would have been a lot more detail normally if I was in an assessment with somebody. So your note is generated in seconds. And when you click on the note, you come over here and you can see the note's been written for us, the presenting problems, signs, and symptoms. This is an assessment, so it's very comprehensive with different sections. Now, if you come up here to the top and you click on diagnosis, you're going to see suggested ICD-10 codes that are included with this assessment that we just did. The AI generated this based on the content of the assessment. We can decide here if we think our diagnosis aligns with what Barry suggested for you. And it's really important to note with the diagnosis, when you're given the diagnosis suggestions, you can click this right here that says justification, the down arrow, and it's going to explain to you the justification as to why Barry's has chosen this specific diagnosis based on the session that you just did with the client. So this says the client's anxiety and interpersonal conflicts are triggered by identifiable psychosocial stressors. And it goes on to explain it further. So this helps you understand why Barry's would have suggested these diagnoses to begin with. And it also gives you a little bit more clarification and insight into why that ICD-10 code might be the right one for you to choose. We can choose from a number of diagnoses. Social phobias, I wouldn't say that, so I'm going to reject that diagnosis. And then adjustment disorder, we're going to say that yes, he meets the criteria for adjustment disorder. We're going to approve that. Other differential diagnoses here that's being suggested. Generalized anxiety disorder. So I'm thinking about this now. I might want to approve this too, and I might want to have two right now just to think about it. Now, let's say I also suspect something like bipolar disorder. You can go down here and start typing it in, and it's going to pull it up for you already. Bipolar 2, bipolar unspecified. I'm going to go ahead and choose that, but let's say I just want that to be provisional. So I'm going to hit provisional and leave it there. Now that we have the diagnosis, I can come back to the note. I can look at this note and edit it for my preferences and style. So in each section, you'll see a magic edit button. You can add objective observations. These are just preferences I've had before. But let's say we want to have no quotes and apply to all sections. You can hit the magic edit button, and it's going to take out all the quotes throughout the entire assessment. Now, let's say that you think this is great. You're ready. You're finished with this. You can come down here to the bottom. Make sure everything looks correct. We want to make sure we always have clinical oversight of our notes and make sure everything's accurate. You copy the note, and the entire note's been copied. You take it over to your EHR and post it in there, and you're done with your client assessment. Easy peasy. Now, the amazing thing about this is the client letter. So let's say you just finished your assessment. You've got the diagnosis dialed in. Now, let's say you want to send a client letter. We come over here. You can do a client email, which is going to summarize what we just did in this session. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. It goes over the key things that we talked about in the evaluation about communication patterns and family interactions. Practice assertiveness, boundaries, keep a journal to track your feelings and responses. All of this is written instantly based on the assessment note that we just did. Send it to your client or download it as a PDF if you want to take that document with you. Now, there's lots of options for different types of letters that you can write here. Session summary for the client, session summary to a collateral provider, somebody that might have referred your client or you're referring them to, homework assignments, progress letters to other providers. It can summarize a treatment plan for the client, referral sources, an excuse for school, a work excuse. There's all kinds of letters that this can generate for you really easily in here. And you can also do a custom letter. So if you come here, you can give it instructions, tell it exactly what type of letter you want to create. Now I want to show you how to generate a treatment plan for this client. So we've completed the assessment. We have the diagnosis. We sent a letter to the client summarizing what we talked about in the assessment. Now you can generate a new treatment plan. You can select the diagnosis that you want. It's got both selected that we chose earlier. You can select a template for the treatment plan. So you can go down here and look through all the templates. You can customize your templates. But for our purposes, we're going to pick the psychotherapy plan. And then you could choose your therapeutic framework. So if you have a specific type of therapeutic framework that you like to work from, you can choose that here, and it's going to be incorporated into the treatment plan. So let's say I'm a CBT therapist. Now you can add custom instructions here. Let's say you only want one goal and one objective. Let's say you want 15 based on both diagnoses. You could put that information in here before you generate the plan. You can save instructions. It's going to remember it for future treatment plans that you're generating. We're going to click Generate Plan, and it says your treatment plan is being created. This is amazing technology. It's based on the assessment and the treatment plan and your preferences as a clinician, and it generates these treatment plans very quickly and easily for you, and you no longer have to think about what you're going to say in your treatment plan. This gets it started for you to be able to go later and give it your own clinical oversight. This is what you'll see when you get a new treatment plan. It's going to say when it was created, when it was last updated, the template that you used, and the framework that you used. You can discard it if you don't like it, or you can approve the plan. Now, it's taken into account the 2 diagnoses that we approved earlier. It's going to give us the presenting problem, goals, and objectives. As you can see, they're specific, time-oriented, SMART goals that meet medical necessity. We've got interventions suggested based on CBT. If it was a different modality, it would say something different here. This is an amazingly comprehensive treatment plan. Client progress indicators, how are we going to know the client is making progress? Of course, you would go through and make sure it applies specifically to your client, but these are pretty right on because it's based on the client intake or the progress note that we just did with the client. Discharge criteria, how will we know when it's time to discharge? These are the signs we're going to look for. These are the goals that the client will have accomplished to justify discharge. And of course, you can use Magic Edit to change anything. If you say, gosh, I think I need another discharge criteria, do one around this specific thing, it's going to rewrite it and do it for you. Let's say you wanted an additional goal and objective added in here that Barry's didn't already think of. You can come down here, hit Magic Edit, you can give it instructions, and it's going to update this treatment plan for you based on the additional information that you want to add in there. When you're ready and you think it's right, you can approve the plan right here, and your treatment plan has been updated and saved. You can copy your plan, take it over to your EHR, and now it's in Donald Duck's history. We have his demographic information here where you can choose pronouns. You can choose what type of template you want to use for this client on an ongoing basis. Let's say you're an EMDR therapist, you choose the EMDR template. You can enter their date of birth and indicate whether it's an individual session, a couple session, group, or family. You can save changes and keep that information, and a summary of your last session. Let's say you want an overall summary of this client's progress over time. You can click Generate Client Summary. We're going to have a narrative overview, medications, risk and safety factors. A complete summary of this client is available to you when you click that button. Session notes, going to show you all the past notes that you've done with the client. The template that you used, you can view the note right here. Your diagnosis that you've got going on right now. Let's say, I've decided he's not bipolar. You can go ahead and reject that diagnosis from this screen. You can remove it. And then you can review the treatment plan. So we've got the treatment plan that's here. Now, if you did another session with the client, it would update, and you'd be able to see versions of the treatment plan that you've had for this client. Right now, we've only got one. You can preview that. So you can go back and look at progress over time. You can copy old versions and take those over to your EHR if you want to. Now, another really important feature for you to see is the session preparation and the assistant chat feature that we have inside of Barry's. So I'm going to choose Donald Duck again. We're going to come in here. We've got our template selected. Notice the session assistant at the top here. This is an amazingly important feature of Barry's and what makes it truly unique. Now, before you even hit record with the client, you're going to have this screen open up when you click Session Assistant. You're going to see preparation, follow-up, so explore strategies to improve assertive communication and coping during family gatherings. You're going to see follow-ups. These are things we can follow up with in this session. And then you're going to see the last session summary here. You can read through this and you can be totally prepared for your session before you hit record and go into your next session with your client. And again, we're going to see the summary here. It's going to give you all the details. You're going to see the assistant. The assistant is amazing. This is a co-pilot that works with you with all of your clients. You can consult the assistant at many different places inside of Barry's, but in this particular place when you're getting ready to see your client, let's say maybe you're feeling a little nervous about this client. He's not making a lot of progress and you want to help him better. He could come down here and click these hot buttons that are already installed inside of Barry's, so case conceptualization, intervention planning, homework, or you can type in and just chat with the assistant and get more insight about how to help your client. So I'm going to show you case conceptualization. If you hit this, it populates the prompt already. It says, help me organize this client's history, identify key patterns, and summarize progress. So you hit that. It's looking at all of his history, taking all of this into account, and really giving you specific, detailed feedback about this particular client. So we're talking about presenting issues, family dynamics, trauma history. This is all based on that initial assessment you saw me do. Patterns in clinical formulation, progress summary. It's going to give you all of that. And the more information you have here about your client, the more robust this is going to be. You can chat with the assistant about this client further. You can say something like, is there anything I'm missing with this client that you would recommend I follow up on? You can hit enter, and it's going to give me feedback and suggestions, social support and external relationships, prior mental health treatment history. It's probably got a lot because I did an assessment and didn't include any of this information. But you get the idea of how that can be super helpful for a clinician. And then, of course, we can do a quick visual of the diagnosis and the treatment plan right from this screen. Now, we start the session with the client. It's recording. We can see our client in our video session. This is open in another window. You have access to this the whole time that you're seeing your client, and it's recording during the session. So you can type messages here. You can consult with the AI while you're talking to your client. And it's all in a HIPAA-compliant environment, so it's safe to talk about the case if you're like, gosh, if you're thinking and the client's talking about, I don't remember when that was. Was that like 5 months ago when my dog died? You can consult the assistant and say, when did the client's dog die? And it's going to pull that up and give you that information back so you can continue on with your session with your client. You can also just say, hang on, let me think about that, type a question and get a little bit of feedback. Talking about anxiety around maybe something that you don't have a lot of experience with, you could type it in here. It's going to pull in the client's history, treatment plan, and it's going to give you suggestions around specific assignments in real time for that specific client to be able to manage their anxiety better. So that's the session assistant. But as I said before, you can access the assistant from many places. You can see it lives up here at the top, or you can click it and just go find your client by name if you want to. If you're thinking about, gosh, that client's been on my mind all day. I want to go see if there's any other thing I can do to help them. Enter their name in here. It's going to pull them up and you can access it from here as well. So you don't have to do it just when you're in session with the client. You can also go to your client list and enter clients this way. You can see the back end again. You can pull up a summary here. Now let's talk about personalization because this is where AI really starts to shine. AI doesn't force you into a one-size-fits-all template. It adapts to your way of working. Firstly, most quality AI scribes include templates specifically designed for mental health practice, not generic medical notes. These templates cover intake assessments, progress notes, couples therapy, psychiatric evaluations, and more. They're built with mental health documentation standards in mind, so they include the sections and the language that you actually need. An AI tool should offer multilingual support. You can conduct a session in your client's preferred language, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, whatever they're most comfortable with, and the AI will transcribe and generate notes accurately into English or your preferred language. This is huge for clinicians working with diverse populations. Third, the notes should be fully customizable. You can set your preferred terminology, adjust the structure, control the level of detail, and focus on clinical areas that matter most to your practice. Maybe you're a DBT therapist and you want to track specific skills. Maybe you're doing EMDR and you need to document phases of treatment. Maybe you work with children and you need developmental observations. Good AI lets you customize the note format so every note reflects your unique way of documenting. And fourth, many AI tools include medical necessity language that may be required by insurance companies. This reduces claim denials and audit risk when you're maintaining clinical authenticity. So you're not writing for the insurance company, you're writing for clinical care, but the AI can help you meet documentation requirements without compromising your own voice. The key takeaway here is this: AI should work like you do. It should learn your style, respect your preference, and adapt to your practice needs. If an AI tool feels rigid or generic, it's not the right tool. Now I want to show it to you in action in Berry. So if you come up to the top, you'll see templates. In here, there's a robust library of customizable notes and treatment plans that you can make your own. So as you can see, there's tons of templates in here: case management contact notes, couples therapy, discharge summary, EMDR, family therapy. The list really goes on and on. And then you could choose treatment plans and you can see treatment plan templates as well. If you want to upload a new treatment plan template, you click here. You can build it from scratch, or you can start from a sample treatment plan. So you can use a sample treatment plan in your preferred structure by copying and pasting it right here into this box. And then the AI is going to generate a treatment plan template based on your preferred structure of a treatment plan that maybe you've been using somewhere else. Now, notice each of these are customizable. You can edit and customize just about every part of this. You can name it if you want to. You can change the section titles if you want to. Berry's is so smart, it's going to give you suggestions of different section titles here if you wanted to. So let's say we just want to call it family psychiatry and addiction history. Now, once you've got these customized, you can choose if you like bullet points, paragraph style, length, if you want a detailed, standard, concise. You can even edit the specific things that it's asking inside the session content. And then let's say that you don't want this section first, maybe you want this other section first. You can drag these and change the order of how you want these templates to look. And when you're ready, you can click it as Save as New. And then you have your new template. And if you don't like any of the templates already provided, you can start from a blank template or a sample note. You can, again, copy and paste a sample note that maybe you already use and already like, and it's going to recreate it for you as your own personalized template. Here's where AI starts to do more than just write good notes. A good AI can connect each session to the ongoing treatment plan, creating continuity across your work with your client. After you sign off on a session note, the AI can analyze the session content and update the treatment plan automatically. It can identify progress toward treatment goals, flag areas that might require clinical attention or intervention changes, suggest updates to treatment plan objectives based on what happened in the new session, and maintain continuity across sessions. Now, to be clear, the AI is just making suggestions. You're still the clinician making the decisions. Instead of manually reviewing every session to update the treatment plan, the AI does the heavy lifting and presents you with the recommendations. You review, you approve or adjust, and then you move forward. It also allows you to prep for the next session, and that's a feature that clinicians love. Before your next appointment with the client, the AI can provide pre-session highlights. It pulls key themes from previous sessions, reminds you of treatment goals and current progress, flags areas for follow-up, and notes any recent changes or concerns. The result is that you walk into each session fully prepared with relevant information from prior sessions readily available. You're not scrambling to remember what happened last time and flipping through old notes to try to figure it out. You're ready, you're prepared, and you could just hop into the session. Treatment plans often become static documents that don't reflect the dynamic nature of therapy. We write them at intake, we update them occasionally for insurance, but they don't always capture the evolving work that we're doing with our clients. AI can keep treatment plans as living, evolving documents that support clinical decision-making and ensure continuity of care across every session. This isn't just convenient, it's clinically valuable. So to demonstrate this, we're going to do a new session with Donald, and I'm going to show you how you can update the treatment plan. So we're going to start the session. Client has practiced the assertiveness training that we discussed in the last session. He reports that he's feeling a little bit more encouraged and is hoping he can stand out at his next office meeting by being more assertive. He did the homework we talked about. He's reporting progress and feeling a lot less anxiety. He's actually looking forward to the next family event that's going to challenge him like the holidays did. He's role-playing in session to talk about ways that he can use the assertiveness skills that he's learning and working on in therapy. I'm going to end the session. It's going to generate a note for us. I'm going to show you how to update the treatment plan. Our note is complete. We're going to come to the treatment plan tab. Now we're going to hit Magic Update. We're going to update the treatment plan. And it's saying the updated plan will be generated based on information from notes and diagnoses added since your last plan. It's going to take into account all the progress the client's made since the last treatment plan. We're going to click Update Plan. And it's thinking. This is where the real magic happens. It's automatically updating treatment progress goals based on the progress the client's making. As you can see, first created on February 2nd at 1:29. The second one is at 1:55 p.m. Psychotherapy plan, CBT framework. It's still got our diagnoses there. You could compare the two to see, but it's updated the goals and objectives based on the progress that the client's made. So you'd come through and read this and see the changes that Barry's made. And if you agree and you think everything looks great, you can come down here, apply changes, and you have a new treatment plan saved. Now let's talk about security, because this is a non-negotiable. When you're evaluating AI tools, you need to know exactly how your client data is being protected. So as a refresher, here are the 5 security features you should always look for. First, make sure the AI tool does not store session recordings. Audio should be processed in real time to generate the note and then immediately deleted. There should be no archive of recordings sitting on a server somewhere. If a vendor can't confirm this, walk away. Second, all data should be encrypted both in transit and at rest. That means when data is moving between your device and the server, it's encrypted. And when it's stored on the server, it's encrypted. This is basic cybersecurity, but you'd be surprised how many tools don't do this properly. Third, patient health information, PHI, should never be used to train the AI models. Some AI companies use client data to improve their algorithms. This is a huge privacy violation. Make sure the vendor explicitly states that PHI is not being used for model training. Fourth, there should be complete documentation of all data access and processing. This ensures accountability and compliance with regulatory requirements. If there's ever a question about who accessed what data and when, there should be a clear audit trail. And fifth, you should be covered under a business associate agreement from the moment you sign up. A BAA is a legal contract that ensures the vendor is handling PHI in compliance with HIPAA. If a vendor won't sign a BAA, then they're not HIPAA compliant and you shouldn't use them. When you're vetting AI tools, here's your compliance checklist: HIPAA compliant, regular third-party security audits, business associate agreement, SOC 2 certified. If a vendor checks all these boxes, you can feel confident that your client data is protected. Now let's talk about customization, because your practice is unique and your AI tools should reflect that. Most quality AI tools come with built-in mental health templates, but the best ones let you customize those templates to match your practice needs. You can adjust section headings and required fields, set default language and terminology preferences, create templates for specific modalities, CBT, DBT, EMDR, or psychodynamic therapy. You should be able to build templates for different populations, children, couples, groups, trauma survivors, and customize for different types of notes: intake, progress notes, psychiatric evaluations, and more. The idea is that you start with a solid foundation and then make it yours. And if you're part of a group practice, this feature is especially valuable. An AI tool should allow group practices to share customized templates across clinicians. This ensures consistency in documentation while still allowing individual customization. So why does this matter? Because it supports standardized documentation for quality assurance, makes supervision and case consultation easier, ensures consistent billing to support insurance compliance, helps with onboarding new clinicians who can use established formats, and maintains practice standards while respecting individual clinical styles. If you're a solo practitioner, you might not need this feature, but if you're part of a group, it's worth asking whether the AI tool supports shared template libraries. To continue with the customization features that go beyond templates, the session assistant that I showed you is like a clinical partner. An AI tool should include a session assistant feature that goes beyond note-taking to support clinical decision-making. This might include suggesting evidence-based interventions based on session content, providing research summaries on relevant topics, offering diagnostic considerations when appropriate, helping formulate treatment plan goals and measurable objectives, and being available for clinical questions and consultation. Now, to be very clear, this is support, not replacement. The AI is not making clinical decisions for you. You are. But it can function like a well-informed colleague who helps you think through cases, suggests resources, and keeps you clinically sharp. It should work with all EHRs and telehealth platforms. Finally, make sure that the AI tool you're using works seamlessly with your existing systems. It should integrate with every major EHR. You should be able to just copy and paste your information into your EHR. You shouldn't have to change your entire workflow to accommodate the AI tool. Instead, you simply copy and paste the completed note or treatment plan into your preferred system. A good AI tool fits your workflow. It doesn't force you to adapt to its workflow. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about that session assistant, your co-pilot, helping guide you through the clinical process. Here's the paradox. The best technology is the kind that you stop noticing. When AI works well, it fades into the background. It handles the burden so seamlessly that you forget that it's there. You're not thinking about the tool, you're thinking about your client. This is what we mean by invisible. It's not that the AI assistant isn't working, it's that it's working so smoothly, so quietly that it doesn't demand your attention. In the demonstration I showed you, the AI tool is just sitting there next to where you're recording the session so you can easily consult it, not have to go searching for it when you need it. So what does that really look like in practice? It means no complex setup or technical expertise required. You don't need to be a tech person. It means minimal interruption to your natural workflow, so you're not constantly managing the tool or troubleshooting problems. It means the AI works quietly during sessions without drawing attention, and your client isn't distracted by the technology. It means that the notes are so accurate you barely need to edit them. You're spending minutes, not hours, on documentation. It means notes transfer smoothly to your existing EHR system. There's no friction, no compatibility issues. And it means the AI doesn't require you to change how you practice therapy. You're still doing the work you've always done. The AI is just handling the administrative burden in the background. That's the standard we're aiming for, not flashy technology that demands your attention, but quiet, reliable support that lets you focus on what matters most, your clients. And let's dig deeper into why this invisible assistant concept matters so much. It really comes down to something called cognitive offloading. AI should remove the cognitive load, not add to it. Think about what happens when you're not mentally tracking what needs to go into the note. You have more mental energy for tracking nonverbal cues and body language, noticing subtle shifts in the affect or tone of your client. It allows you to hold space for silence and reflection, formulating interventions in real time, and being fully present in the therapeutic relationship. The AI takes on the mental burden of documentation so you can direct your full attention to the clinical work. Now, contrast that with manual documentation. Without AI, part of your mind is always documenting. You're thinking, I need to remember that phrase for the notes, or what was that ICD-10 code that I'm supposed to be using? Did I capture enough medical necessity language? I have 7 notes to write after this session. The divided attention diminishes the therapeutic presence. You're not fully there with your client because part of you is already writing the note in your head. AI eliminates that mental burden. You can be 100% present in the session, knowing that the documentation will be handled afterwards. So here's the core takeaway for this entire lecture, and really for this entire series. AI is most powerful when it's invisible, helping quietly behind the scenes so you can be fully present for the healing work that only you can do. That's the promise. That's what we're working toward. Not technology for technology's sake, but technology that restores your capacity to do the work that drew you to this profession in the first place. If you have additional questions after today's session, you can reach out to the Berries Academy team at help@heyberries.com. We're happy to help. Thank you for the truly important work that you do. The fact that you're here, learning about these tools, exploring how to work smarter, that speaks to your commitment to your clients and to your own sustainability as a clinician. Thank you so much for joining us for Lecture 4. I hope this demonstration gave you a clear picture of what's possible with AI in your practice.